What do you want to get out of this off week?
I want to continue to physically and mentally rest, what you would do in any off week. You know, it's going to be hopefully a very difficult second half stretch, both physically and mentally. So we'll take the rest when we can get it, and then we'll do things that sometimes get overlooked, block shots and small detail things, and we'll do some special team stuff. And, you know, we'll just kind of break it down a little bit more because we have extra time, but we're not reinventing anything. We're not implementing any new systems, nothing like that. I mean, we've got some guys, you know, it's nice for Carpenter to have some time to continue to work on his conditioning. We need Brent Tate to get some rest. So, you know, from a injury standpoint, it helps as well. So it's kind of a bunch of different things, but not a whole lot different than a normal week, other than there's no games Friday and Saturday.
Do you mind having another off week so quick after?
I really don't, Kevin, and honestly, I don't mean this in a bad way. It really doesn't matter if I do mind or not. I've been wrapping my arms around the fact that we've got an off week, and then we're going to have 2 off weeks coming up, you know, surrounding the Anchorage series. So this second half is going to be a little bit different than the first half, in that there's time off. I don't think about it in terms of like or dislike. I think about it in terms of this is what we have and let's deal with it the best we can. The other thing, Kevin, we use off weeks for is we like to check in with our guys during off weeks and give them you know, an individual update on where their game is, what we need from them, what they should do different, what they need to continue to do, so on and so forth. Not that we don't do it anyway, but we use the time to get to most guys, if not everybody, and give them an update of where they are.
And then is the practice schedule that has changed for the second?
Yeah, we've got some seniors that have to take class during what would normally be practice time. So we've just we've moved it up an hour. We'll start at 8 o'clock on Tuesday and Thursday, and start at 8:15, 8:20 on Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday remains the same.
Are you going for an hour or 2 hours?
Oh, well, it's not. We've never really gone for 2 hours. Our practice is usually about an hour 15, and then typically in the second half of the year you come back a little bit. So let's just say hour 2, an hour 15, and then we go from there.
With practice starting at 8, guys that are going to be up early, are you just having to make sure they get to bed on time properly?
Well, we don't. I mean, again, that's part of being somebody within this program, that we expect them to make those decisions. Now, I know exactly what you're asking. What we're going to try to do is give them a time to be here, which may be a little bit different than we have in the past. They've kind of showed up on their own time, and we're going to try to have, you know, some bananas here or something like that, just to help them or encourage them to eat breakfast and do the best we can to have them awake when practice starts. And we're not using the first 15 minutes of practice to wake up. We're using that half hour before we meet and before practice to wake up and make sure they're ready to go, because we still need to accomplish a bunch in practice, even though we're not out there quite as long as we were in the first half, let's just say. So we're going to see how it goes. It's the first time. It's not 6 in the morning, but they are getting up earlier, and it is something we have to be aware of, and we're not going to pretend it's not going to be different, because it is. We'll have to see how our guys react. Today they seem fine.
What time will they be getting here roughly?
Tuesdays and Thursdays right around 7:15, and then Mondays and Wednesdays would be 7:45 or 7:30, I guess. Yeah.
How's Brent Tate's back?
It's still tight, and we want to be cautious with it. You know, with the weekend off, we definitely want Brent for the stretch push and the last 10 games or 12 games or whatever it is, for sure. But we want him out there, preparing and improving and all that kind of stuff. So we're being cautious with it, but it's something that we don't feel it's going to hamper him, heading into Lake Superior next week.
Feel like he'll be pretty close to where he should be with 2 weeks.
We do, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. He's pretty good with the maintenance on it. Like he does a good job of doing his stretching and his exercises for strengthening his core and so on. So you know, everyone needs the skating. You can't just take time off skating, but I think his intention is to skate, if not every day this week, you know, most days this week, and then every day next week.
And how's Ronnie after the?
It's pretty good. I mean, you know, he hasn't said anything, which is a good thing. So we haven't gone to him and asked. I don't want to. No, he's progressing to where I think he's pretty close to 100%, if not there. So now it's make sure he's in condition and shape. I mean, the only thing he didn't do that I'd like to see him do is kill penalties and at least be in that conversation. We do think he's more comfortable at center, so, but I don't think that has anything to do with anything, you know, what position he plays. You know, he's back to his old routine where he's doing core things and that kind of stuff off the ice. So I think right now it's just use practice for what it is and continue to skate and work on his conditioning and then get back in his old routine.
Did you like his play on the wing last weekend, and is the plan to keep him there moving forward, or is that undecided?
We didn't dislike his play, you know. We liked his play over the weekend. He obviously reminded all of us of how positive a presence he is on the bench, in the dressing room. He was rewarded Friday, could have been rewarded Saturday, had a couple of good chances, especially in the first. You know, he's somebody that was a centerman for us for 2 years, was planning on playing center this year, and Mark Cooper was supposed to, we were playing, and Mark playing the wing. So I think, you know, going into preparation for Lake Superior, you know, we moved Carp to center, and the intention was to play Cooper and Carpenter together, and then with whomever. So, you know, does that mean we go to that? We'll see. But I do think moving forward, Mark goes back to the wing and Carp plays center.
With Tommy Burke's play as of late, is he the number one going forward, would you say?
I don't really want to paint ourselves into that. Tommy Burke has deserved all the talk he's getting, and with his play and his preparation. You know, he's a guy that is on top of his game right now, and our focus will be next Friday to pick the best goalie who gives us a chance to win. Tommy's definitely a major part of that conversation. I don't want to by any means discourage Thomas Scholl at this point. I know there's no reason to. We need Thomas, whether that means because he's starting or he's pushing or whatever. So the focus will be the same from a coaching staff perspective, that it's about preparation, it's about tomorrow, and you know, we're evaluating based on those things. Has Tommy Burke put himself in a good spot? He has, with his play.
Any new injuries out of the weekend?
No.
Were you paying attention to Ferris and Minnesota State this weekend?
You know what? I'll pay attention just because I do, but you know, I'm almost more interested in Fairbanks at Northern. I'm almost more interested in you know, Anchorage at Huntsville. You know, so I'll be watching what goes on. You know, I think the Tech. No, who does Tech play? The Tech doesn't play this weekend, so I'll be obviously Mankato Ferris is interesting for me because they're the two teams that are everyone picked to finish 1-2 in the league and so on. So I'll be watching just because I'm a hockey fan, and I'll be watching. So, but I've got interest in all of them.
That was going to be my next question, is that even though you've got that high-profile series, it seems like every weekend there's a...
There is. I mean, other than Ferris, everybody's in a mishmash of after that. You know what I mean? And who else is there? Bemidji put themselves right back in the conversation with a sweep on the road. You know, I think Michigan Tech is just, they're a really good hockey team. I think Alaska Fairbanks is a really good, you know, obviously Anchorage is playing better. They have to be. So there's lots of hockey to be played. What we know is, with the exception of Ferris, everybody around us, we play. So that's a good thing. So we're watching to see from a fan perspective and a very interested observer perspective of what happens this weekend.
What's the biggest difference in Bryce Williamson this year as opposed to the past?
Well, the word is consistency. I can't explain why.
Yeah.
I can't. He's been getting more consistent every year from year one to today, but that consistency was not where he wanted it. It wasn't where we wanted it. This year, there's a confidence about him. I think that confidence has been built up because he's been consistent. You know, what we're seeing more nights than not this year is what Bryce was built up to be. He's a guy that can skate. He's a guy that is a handful because he's a bigger guy. He's obviously got, you know, well above average skills. He can make players around him better. He can create for himself. I mean, it's a total package type conversation that it's been hard for him to put it all together on a consistent basis. Him and I have been through a bunch trying to figure each other out and what we need from him and how I need to help him get that, whether that's hard or not hard from a coach-player perspective. I'm just happy for Bryce's sake that it's happening. You know, and I don't think it's anything to do with our competition or our league. Bryce Williamson is a good player. He's playing with a level of confidence that we saw at times last year, and that was he had 2 goals at Yost. You know, that was against the best of the best. So this is a guy who he's doing it every day in practice. So that consistency hasn't just been games; it's been practice, which is what we've been harping with all our guys. So he's been more consistent, well, okay, why? I don't know why. I mean, it's his senior year, and he's decided that I'm going to be consistent this year every day. It sure seems to be that way because that's what he's been doing.
Okay. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.